Welcome back to Good Morning Football. We couldn't be more thrilled about the guest we're having on the show now. He's 33 years old, and he's a general manager of one of the most passionate fan bases teams in the entire NFL. Guys, welcome to Good Morning Football. Cleveland Browns general manager, Andrew Berry. Andrew, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
We are great. And as we mentioned, the Browns fan base is excited, very passionate. First GM as general manager of the Cleveland Browns. We know about the picks, Wills and Delpit. Tell us how you're feeling now, a couple days removed from 3 days worth of picking up new players.
Yeah, we're feeling excited. We're excited about the players that we've brought into the organization, both in terms of their talent and their makeup. And I've just really an immense amount of pride for how our group was able to navigate draft weekend, especially given the different circumstances that the entire league was facing with the COVID-19 dynamic. But really pleased with how our group worked together and collaborated, and we're excited about the players that we've added to the roster.
You guys have definitely added to it, but what do you think is going to be the key to not taking a step back, kind of avoid what happened last year and play up to your capabilities, or just play up to the level of talent that you have on the roster?
Yeah, it's a good question, Nate. And talent really is just it's just a part of the equation, or talent or assumed talent is just a small part of the equation. It really is coming together as a team. And our approach really is about focusing on the daily process, focusing on things that we control, working with our coaching staff and establishing the foundation for our program. And so our guys are really focused on learning the new systems, getting their bodies right for the season, and really understanding the roles and responsibilities on the offense and defensive side of the ball, so that our group can come together as a team. And that's really the primary aim. And if we can really focus on process, then we'll really be pleased with the outcomes in the fall.
All right, Andrew, let's get serious for a second. You played cornerback at Harvard University. Your twin brother played at Princeton. I hear he's very successful. And your new head coach, Kevin Stefanski, was a Penn Quaker. So that's a lot of Ivy synergy going around. What is it like to be one of those Ivy League pretty boys? And what is it like in the organization? Is there a rivalry between you and Coach Stefanski?
I don't know that there's a rivalry. It just makes me question Kevin's decision making a little bit. But in all seriousness, it's been great working with Kevin. Kevin, he's a poised, intelligent leader who has a nice combination of empathy, strength, and discipline. Our guys are already gravitating toward him, and he has the perfect makeup to lead us through the season, and certainly the inevitable adversity that strikes any NFL team over the course of the regular season. So it's been great during the spring. He's a fantastic partner in all of this, and we're really looking forward to the fall.
Thank you for joining our show this morning, Mr. Berry. We're all so excited to have you. We did a mock draft on Good Morning Football where I got to pick for the Browns, and I took a left tackle for you guys. You guys took Jedrick Wills. Then you also took one of my favorites through this draft process in Grant Delpit, the safety, of course. What did you make of those two picks? How did it go? And take us through what stood out specifically about those two guys.
Sure. So we're incredibly excited about both players. With Jedrick, we just thought he had a very well-rounded skill set: feet, athleticism, coordination, an advanced pass protector, and very physical in the run game. We think he has all the physical characteristics, and most importantly, the makeup, that'll allow him to transition into the NFL and transition over to the left side of the line. With Grant, we thought Grant had the coverage skill set of a really modern day safety. Here's a big athletic guy who can play the post. He can play near the line of scrimmage. He can cover tight ends. He can walk over and play what we would call our big nickel position over slot receivers. And that's really hard to find. That skill set is hard to find in his physical package. So there are a lot of creative ways that Joe Woods and defensive staff envisions using Grant, and we're happy to have both players as a part of our team.
Andrew, for the viewer at home, they might not be aware, they say 33 years old, but you've been on the radar in NFL circles for quite some time. You were a rising star in Indianapolis with the Polians, and of course during the Andrew Luck era. Then you were in Cleveland. But recently you spent some time in Philadelphia working under Howie Roseman in that front office. Who has shaped your philosophy and really helped mentor you as you approach your first full season as a general manager at 33 years old?
To be honest, Peter, I've always tried to take a little bit from every general manager that I've worked under. You certainly mentioned two of my bigger influence with Bill and Howie. In terms of he really set the foundation for my football career in terms of football philosophy, draft philosophy. I mean, here's a guy who's in the Hall of Fame and really had the Midas touch as a general manager. So I'd be foolish not to take in as much wisdom from him as possible. And with Howie, I've said it before, I think he's the best general manager currently in the sport. Very well-rounded skill set.
Wow.
I've taken a lot from him in terms of approach with free agency, trades, general aggression with roster building, contract management, and then just overall, people management philosophy. So I feel very blessed, very fortunate to have worked for a number of individuals who are not only really good at what they do, but fantastic people and invested in and developed me. So I feel incredibly blessed and fortunate.
Andrew, over the last decade, there hasn't been too many people checking for breaking news coming out of Cleveland regarding the Browns. But now you can't go a week without some type of storyline or rumor surrounding one of your star players. So I want to give you a chance to clear the air. Will Odell Beckham be a Cleveland Brown in 2020?
Yeah, Nate, with all due respect to the question, I think this is actually a topic that, at least from our perspective, there really hasn't been a ton of ambiguity. We've been pretty clear from the beginning that we view Odell as a fantastic player. We're a better team with him on the field. We see him as a long-term member of the organization. Really like how he's acclimated and adjusted with the new staff. So the rumors, that's not something that we can control, but we're happy to have him as a part of our organization.
How could you not be? He's an incredible player. We love to hear that. Andrew, you've been fantastic this morning. Before you go, free agency and the draft are now in the rearview mirror. You have a pretty good idea of what the roster is going to look like, including OBJ. That said, what are then the expectations for the 2020 Cleveland Browns?
Kyle, I would maybe push back a little bit on the notion in terms of the roster being solidified. We don't have, we have 4 more months until we're playing games and another 6 or 7 before the trade deadline. So there are plenty of opportunities to continue to improve the team where this roster can continue to look different than where it is at this point in time with the major parts of free agency and the draft being behind us. We're not really focused on making any predictions. We're really focused on daily process and doing the things within our control that can allow us to have success in the fall. And that really will be our mindset. That will be our focus. And if we can take care of that part of the process, we're optimistic that we'll be pleased when we're looking up in December.
We are optimistic as well. Thank you so much, sitting there as the youngest manager in league history, taking over the Browns. An excellent draft, retaining, of course, the talent from last season. We, as a show, wishing you all the best, and hopefully this is just the first of many visits here at our home on GMFB.
Thanks, guys. Really do appreciate your time this morning. I appreciate you having me.
Andrew Berry even dishing out that Princeton little something for Kyle Brandt. He retaliated. I could watch that all day. We've got so much more to get to, though, here on Good Morning Football. Could the Cardinals be a sleeper pick to take over the NFC? We'll break it down next with the lead block.